Well, just in time for another weekend to roll in. We have another cold snap on the way and a chance of some snow. Not a big chance. I think we had our one and done for the year. Anywho. But it's going to get really cold. And when it gets cold, we get kind of sluggish around here. And we got so many other things that we got to deal with. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen, and I should, but I don't. So I got to thinking, how do I remedy that? Well, I'm going to make something today that is super simple to do. And it's using a basic recipe that you guys have seen me put out here for a lot of different things. We're going to make another thing today. And I thought, why do I get to have all the fun? Why not bring the peoples along with me? And we can all have fun together. So, let's hang out in my kitchen. Y'all, I'm Lauren. This is Megan at Home. And let's get busy. Now, for those of you who have been around here for any length of time, you've seen me make this recipe. This is my good old-fashioned country white bread recipe. This is the recipe I used to learn how to bake bread. And from there, there's not a loaf out there I can't make, let me tell you. This is super simple. We're going to start with 2 cups of very warm water. Not too hot, not lukewarm. About baby bath ready, okay? You don't want it too hot because you don't want it to kill your yeast. Next, to that, we are going to add, I use a little more than a 1/4 cup of sugar. And guys, feel free to substitute honey for this. That'd be just fine too. For the sake of making it quick and easy, this is what I have on hand and this is what I'm using. Okay, give it a swishy swish. Make sure that sugar is dissolving nicely. And quickly, before your water cools off, you are going to grab a tablespoon and a half of yeast. Y'all, I'm a show off. I've made this so many times I don't even need a measuring spoon. We're going to let that sit here for a minute until it proofs. By proofing, I mean it foams up and it gets all happy and giggly up in there. Once we've got that done, we'll get on with the next. Okay, everybody is foamy and happy. We're going to add our 6 cups of flour. It doesn't matter if you use all-purpose or bread flour. It really doesn't make a difference in the final product. I know that sounds a little odd, but it doesn't really make a difference. Use what you got. Ta-da! And finally, 1/4 cup of oil. Now, in pizza crusts and calzones and all things Italian, and in some breads, I like to use virgin olive oil. Or EVU. I was this many years old before I realized what they were saying when they were saying, grab me some EVU off the shelf. Extra Virginia olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. Wow, that was a stretch. Let's mix it up. All right, when that's all finished mixing up, I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to manipulate it into a nice ball, pulling it over from on top of itself, underneath, pinching, and repeating the process about 1,250,000 times. Kidding, just a few times. I have the oven preheating to my lowest heat setting. And that's all I'm going to do. I just want it warm. And we're going to pop our dough right back into the bowl we just pulled it out of. Thusly. We're going to pop it in the oven. Let it rest for a few minutes. Now, the next portion of this is going to be about your taste preferences. You're going to see me put in stuff that you're like, ooh, but Lauren, I don't like that. Okay, don't put it in. Or, Lauren, how come you're not putting in? Put it in. This is just getting these ingredients that I'm going to put into my calzone the way we like it. I'm going to get those all prepped while we're waiting for our dough. So over here in my skillet, I've got about a pound of our pork sausage going over here in this skillet. We're just going to get it nice and brown. Those of you who have been here a while know. Those who are new here may not know. Joel and I make our own sausages. I know. And coming up later this spring, we're going to start making summer sausage. We're going to bring you along for that. But I digress. So we've got our pork sausage going over here. It's just a nice Italian blend. And then I found in my freezer some beautiful Canadian ham. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to add it right to my sausage. Well, into the skillet with my sausage. And there is a great debate up in here. I know how Joel likes his calzone. And I tell him, but that's not an official calzone. I think I'm going to have to backtrack on that. Because I think it all depends on the region of Italy. He insists, of course he's never eaten any Italian food outside of the state of Colorado, but he insists that a traditional calzone is made with a tomato sauce base. And I'm like, ooh, they do. They do. It depends on what part of Italy you're eating in. So either way can be correct. Now to that, I am adding a lot of pepperoni. Joel loves pepperoni. I'm not so much a huge fan, unless it's really good pepperoni. And lastly, now I threw in some mushrooms because my dearly beloved loves mushrooms. And I'm going to throw in a whole bunch more seasoning. We're going to get this all browned up and happy, and then start our build. And that's just about to the point where I want it. I do not want it 100% cooked all the way, because when it's in the oven it's going to cook up some more. And I don't want it to be overdone and dried out. So that's good right there for me. And our final add-on, as she's cooling down, some of our fabulous tastes like summer marinara. And I'm going to reserve just enough for Joel to be dipping, because he likes to dip. That all mixed in there. And we have one more piece of fun thing to do before we get to building. Now we're going to get to building. A large area of my countertop, dusted nicely, and we have our happy pizza dough, bread dough, cinnamon roll dough, all the doughs. I'll try to remember to drop in links to some of the videos that I've done using this recipe. Somewhere in here. All right. We're going for a long rectangle. We want to try to keep it as uniform as we possibly can. Presto, voila. Now that fabulous filling that we just made, we're going to get that right in here. You want to leave ample space around your edges. We're just going to kind of spread this out. Don't go chintzy on the cheese, guys. Now we're going to take our furthest edge and we're going to fold it over. Bring our edge, fold it over. You want to pinch the dickens out of these edges to seal it. And what I like to do when I get done sealing it real well all the way around, fold it onto itself and pinch again. It just ensures that we're not going to have any leakage. And now we're going to transfer this whole thing onto a large cookie sheet. And we're going to cut some slits in the top of this. Be super careful that you do not go too far in. You're just going to cut the top layer of crust here. Just to allow some of the steam to escape. You know, so it doesn't blow up in your oven. Ask me how I learned these things. Now we want this to come out of the oven being so pretty. So I'm taking a simple egg wash and I'm going to brush this all over the top. And now this pan that I'm using is a 21-inch pan, and you can see how I had to curve it around to fit it in here. So this is a big one. You can have this recipe, or you can have the dough and make a fairly decent sized calzone and a loaf of bread or a batch of cinnamon rolls. Or 2 additional pizzas. So you can make a whole night of it on one recipe, guys. You could have a calzone and pizza night. And the dough itself costs roughly, call it 50 cents to make, depending on whatever toppings you want to put in it. That's a pretty cheap date, guys. Last but not least, a little bit of garlic salt. All right. Let's get it in the oven. Okay, so some of you who are really paying attention notice that I put it in the oven before I preheated the oven. I did that for a reason. The reason being, as it's warming up, it's going to cause the dough to lift and expand and really wrap around that filling. It makes for a nice finish. But we're going to let this rip, and when it comes out of the oven, I'll bring you in and I'll show you. All right, we're going to pull this bad boy out. She's a big one. Joel got home while it was baking, and I showed it to him real quick, and he went, "Holy cow, you feeding the entire neighborhood?" No,
thing is huge!
The moral of the story is you have plenty to eat. That frees me up time to make candles and whatnots and tchotchkes. So I'm just going to let this cool off for a minute, and we're going to cut into a piece of it and let my dearly beloved sample it for you so he can tell you what he thinks. As I said, to make this, it's one recipe that makes a whole lot of other stuff. Hello.
Hello. I'll take that piece right there.
So, this is my basic country white bread recipe. And I'll put it somewhere. I'll give you a link to the video so you can go get that recipe. But with that recipe, you can make 2 loaves of bread. You can make 4 large pizzas. You can make one of these dudes,
A huge calzone.
or another 2 pizzas with another 2 pizzas. You can make cinnamon rolls. You can do so many things. It is such a versatile dough recipe. It's what I started with to learn how to make bread, because I couldn't make bread to save my soul. Thank you.
Look at all that wonderful goodness in there. Ooh, doggies.
See how it looks. That's pretty.
Ooh, doggies.
Now it's going to be hot.
Ooh, hot doggies.
Here it is. Here's the test.
Hot. Goodness.
Is it tasty?
Goodness.
So there it is. He can eat for days.
I know.
Breeze right on through this next cold snap with plenty of good, warm, healthy goodness. Ta-da. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Give it a try. I will post the recipe either down in the comments or somewhere up in here. Guys, keep looking up. Say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do that often. You're welcome. Keep your attitude of gratitude in all things at all times. God bless you. May He make His face shine upon you and give you peace. Ta-da! And we will catch you on the flip. See ya!